Sheraz Siddiqui has been working for the betterment of Ethiopians. He has also been collaborating with Ethiopian expats and leaders in the United States of America to help them in every corner and advocating the betterment of Ethiopians and showing the right picture of Ethiopia to the whole world. Ladies and gentlemen, and he's my guest today in this edition of Addis Dialogue. With it, I'm Leader Sheraz. All right, Sheraz, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me.
You're welcome, sir. It's an honor to be here online with you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. The first question would obviously be question in connection with the HR 6600 bill that has been introduced by Tom Malinowski. So if this bill is approved by President Joe Biden, it will have diverse crippling effects on Ethiopia. Many say, and the country, as you know, is in the midst of diverse issues, and it already has a lot on its plate to deal with. So in your views, what should be done beforehand to minimize such risks?
See, this bill, HR 6600, was introduced by Mr. Tom, and to his understanding, he just introduced it. And there's a lot had to be done. This bill is very biased. It's undermining the majority of Ethiopians, and the bill is gonna cripple the economy, the situation, and stability in Ethiopia. This bill has some serious issues, and it will create a lot of tensions within the country. It has to be seriously revised, or we have to advocate not for this bill to pass.
Ethiopians, as you know, are voicing their dismay at the bill, and they are strongly denouncing. They have been strongly denouncing the bill. So how strong, in your view, and united should Ethiopians be at such a critical time as the East African nation is going through such threats?
Yeah, as I say, this bill is very biased, and what we have to do, Ethiopians have to do, is stand determined. Don't give up, stand with it. It's very biased bill. We have to denounce it, and we have to fight for it. We have to write to Congress. Especially Ethiopian Americans here in America have a direct say. They can write letters, they can email Congress and explain how this bill is going to impact in a negative manner and how is a hindrance to Ethiopian success, stability, and peace. So this is very major.
Yeah. So what are some of your suggestions for Ethiopians and friends of Ethiopia, in voicing their concerns strongly so that the bill will not be approved? And how should, in your view, other nations also help such cause?
Well, as I said, Ethiopian Americans have to involve a lot, and Ethiopians as well, through the social media, through awareness. Different countries, the foreign ministry of different countries also step in, because we have to work with a democratically elected government and majority. Whenever you create a bill, you cannot undermine 110 million or 115 million people and just work with few. We have to be fair for everyone. Especially the country just coming out of the war, all that's been going on. These things can create a lot of issues, a lot of tension, a lot of stress within the communities, countries, and the states. And we don't want that. This bill has been introduced on a very little information, without groundwork, without the actual factual the things. This bill, I personally think the fake news played a major role too, in creating an image of Ethiopia that it's not. The fake image, I've been denouncing that. I've been speaking against the fake news, in the No More campaigns and stuff, because they create a picture to the people which is not actually, a fact. And what people do with the limited information, they make judgments. That's why we have a lot of general population, not only Ethiopians, a lot of different races here in America and different countries is speaking against this bill, because they understand how sensitive it is. United States said that we want to establish a stability and peace and development in Ethiopia, then you have to speak for all, and the bill has to be very moderate and very fair.
Okay. why are some of the USA officials resorting to such course of action, which, if approved, as you said earlier, will affect the people, especially the general public?
Right. It will definitely affect the general population. In the United States, there is a right to speak. For officials, there is a right to introduce a bill. Not necessarily means it's going to pass. Not necessarily means they're right. They have a very limited information. So what they do, they come up with this information and they get, carried away and then introduce a bill. 90% of the bills, die in committee. So that's the thing. So this bill, it's very, very challenging for Ethiopia, and we must speak against it. And a lot of the senators and senior Congress members are coming out and speaking against it. There's a reason for it. They have a better understanding. Ethiopia has been a part of America, a friend of America for years, over a century. We can't just undermine their concerns, the people, the government, and just do their own introduction of bill that is very limited for a great country that Ethiopia is.
Some senators are opposed to the bill, as you said earlier, of course. So how should Ethiopians capitalize on that?
Yeah, Ethiopians should understand that senior members, senior senators are coming out opposing this bill, which is a major thing. There is a reason for it because they stand with Ethiopia. They stand with Ethiopians. They understand the correct and the true situation. What Ethiopians should do, take it as an advantage and step up and understand and write letters to Congress and use these, the senators who are opposing that, use this thing to have other countries encourage them to also speak and oppose the bill, because this is a matter of Ethiopians' betterment. It's very major.
Okay. You're also standing by Ethiopians in various movements, including the #NoWar movement. So what are some of your plans in the future in this regard?
Right. I have been working with Ethiopian Americans and Ethiopia for over 15 years for the betterment in a lot of different sectors like energy, constructions, medical, education, seminars. I've always been connected with Ethiopia and Ethiopians. And I grew up with a lot of Ethiopian Americans. One of my best friends is Ethiopian American. So I stand with Ethiopia and I understand the culture. I understand the situation in Ethiopia. I've been going to Ethiopia for almost 21 years now, every year. So my plan is to just keep standing and supporting Ethiopians, opposing this bill, and for the development and for the betterment of Ethiopia. We have a lot of different programs that we are working on with Ethiopian American Center of Maryland, here in Houston as well, and individually with the government, local government as well. And one of the major things I would like to add right now is that advocating Ethiopian image in the world, the correct image, because there are a lot of misconception that's been created by fake media. My major thing is that speak against it and show the world how great Ethiopia is, a country that is the second largest country in Africa with 120 million plus people, with a great geographical location. This is major. I mean, this country needs to be put on the map of the world and took seriously. This is very major. So I've been advocating that a lot, especially with all this in the last year or two, with media coming out and speaking against it and creating this whole different situation for their own benefit and for their own rating and TRPs. Yeah. So I've been advocating against that, that's major move for me right now at the moment.
All right. So also this being as it is, Ethiopia has also a lot of issues to solve internally, as you know. The country is also pinning up its hopes on the upcoming national dialogue to solve some of the security and other issues. So as a friend of Ethiopia, what are some of your suggestions?
I mean, Ethiopia has always been close to my heart. I'm connected with Ethiopia. And national dialogue, that's a very great approach. It's a great step, but we want it to solve and resolve problems. The stability issue, the security issues, that, disturbance in the society, in the country. We want that to be resolved. We want Ethiopia to speed up and get on a right direction that it was heading, it should head, and start developing, the infrastructure, the success, the peace, the safe and major country that it is. I want it to emerge and come out at the world level as a great country with a population, as I said, more than 120 million, with a lot of natural resources. One of the greatest dam now just opened up. I mean, we just want this success to keep on going. The picture has to be cleared about Ethiopia, how Ethiopian culture is, how Ethiopian people is, what is Ethiopia about. So national dialogues is a great way to, communicate and resolve issues within the country, because there's a lot of chaos, there are a lot of disagreements that needs to be resolved ASAP. And for Ethiopia to head on the right direction, it should be.
Okay. And what are some of your future plans, as part of your efforts in standing by Ethiopia and expats in the United States of America and showing the right picture of this East African nation to the whole world?
Yeah, this is the whole thing, is that I've been advocating that. I want to take it to the next level where every state and every country would be aware of Ethiopia, how Ethiopia is, how great of a country it is, how safe and how great is the hospitality. I have traveled 46 countries, and whenever I went to Ethiopia, I felt as home. The welcoming, the culture, the greatness, the food, of course, injera is good. Everything about Ethiopia is amazing. And the picture that's been created is like, oh, it's a lot of fighting, or they will do this and they do that, and, dictatorship and stuff. No, it's not like that. Ethiopia is a very safe country, very peaceful country with a lot of natural resources. And the geographical location of Ethiopia is so amazing. It's a doorway. It's an entrance to Africa. It's a heart of Africa. A lot of people they undermine Ethiopia, but Ethiopia location is just one of the best for whole Africa. It's one of the, the culture has been over thousands of years. It's actually a role model. It's a mentor for whole Africa, even though it's the second largest country after Nigeria, but it's actually one of the oldest culture, and they mentor the whole Africa. They carry the whole Africa, but they were never given the position like that in the world. And the misconception has to be clear. So what I'm doing, I visit Ethiopia often. Here also in Maryland, Virginia, DC, I go there. We share dialogue. We share the concerns and how we can make people aware in America and mainstream all cultures, all religions, all races, and make them aware about the greatness of Ethiopia, the culture that Ethiopia preserves and how great it is, the resources that Ethiopia has, and the determination of doing something. Like this dam, how many problems we had, how many issues we had, but it's still that happened. Now electricity has been generated. A lot of different things Ethiopia does is actually an example for whole Africa, and in fact, majority of the world to follow. So we need to highlight that. We need to give it that attention. Like dam is major, but here in the United States, it's not been talked about. So we are just, working on those seminars. I will be visiting Maryland in end of April, to the Ethiopian American Center of Maryland with Mr. Antenna. He invited me, and we're going to share, and we're going to have a dialogue and how we're going to, present and highlight these efforts that Ethiopia has been doing, the greatness of Ethiopia. We want to advocate that. We also want to encourage the people from the United States and all over the world to invest in Ethiopia, because it's a safe country to, for diaspora, to, like it was, the Ethiopian diaspora was there when I visited and everything. It was great. So them connecting them with Ethiopia, especially Ethiopian Americans. We also want to encourage Ethiopian Americans to involve in local politics, statewide, and as well as Congress level. So what's that's gonna do is, like, when there's a representation, there's almost 1 million Ethiopian Americans here in America. When they show their representation, the Congress has to listen. They can vote out things. So, but they need to get involved. And I had a very great discussion when I was in the DMV area about people getting involved in the politics here, in the government here. Besides work, besides this is like our responsibility to our country, the back home. So we want to encourage that in the young population. the youngster. We want them to be involved. So that's something we're going to be doing as well. And it will be a topic of discussion in connection with Ethiopia, all that, and investing in Ethiopia. These are the major things I'm going to be doing. For Ethiopian Americans, of course, I've always spoken for the last almost 18 years. Now we are working on some more efforts here in Texas, creating more, like centers and stuff like that for them to be connected to Ethiopia, where they will gather and feel like home. They will have firsthand issues of Ethiopia and how they can help, how they can involve, how they can clear the picture, the issues and concerns we have, we will address that. And we will also help Ethiopian Americans here who need any kind of help. I've been involved with immigration issues, medical issues, COVID-related issues, and we've been doing it personally and with connecting with people and stuff. We want to take it to the next level where they will have their own standing here in Texas. They will come to their centers. They will get help. Their concerns are addressed. If there's any kind of immigration issue, any kind of, we guide them, we help them out in a volunteer manner. So a lot of different projects we are working on.
Yeah, okay. Sheraz, thank you so much for the work that you've been doing, and thank you indeed also for this opportunity to interview you.
It's my pleasure, sir. It's my honor to be here, and we'll continue working towards the betterment of Ethiopia.
Well, dear viewers, with that, we come to the end of today's program. Many thanks for being with us. Until I see you next time with another program, it's goodbye from me, Sheraz Siddiqui.